Hey, Joe Stedman. This will be my next ASL thing, my next ASL primer. This time I'm going to talk about the prep fire phase. So we're going to get into firing, which is the fun part of the game. Alright, so before we can talk about firing, we have to talk about line of sight. So let me zoom in on the map and kind of show you what I'm talking about. Okay, here we go. Can this German half squad see this Russian squad? Well, obviously no. There is a building in between them. Now ASL is a two-dimensional game, but it's designed so that you can do it three-dimensional. Let's get a little more tricky. So we know that they can't see each other. What about if this squad was right there? Can they see each other? Well, they can kind of see through here, right? No, because in ASL, to check line of sight to see if something can see each other, you go from center dot to center dot. So what you do is you get a piece of string and you just line them up. So you go center dot to center dot, and you can see that it crosses through that building in the middle. So therefore, the line of sight would be blocked. Now, when you check line of sight, you can't just freely check. You can't just get out a piece of string and check all you want. You can only check when you decide to fire. And so if you check and it hits that building, it counts as your fire attack, and you're still going to have to roll your dice to see if you jam your machine gun or if you're using snipers in full ASL. So before you just flippantly decide to shoot, you better have a good idea whether or not you think it's going to hit. So that one is pretty obvious if you look right down center dot to center dot, but they get tricky. What about, let's see here, what if he was there and he was there? Ooh, well, he's probably gonna hit. What about if he was there? So like I'm trying to drive at, you have to get out a string and check, and a lot of it just comes with down to experience and just playing the game. All right. Now the rule book's going to give you all kinds of illustrations and examples of line of sight, how to check line of sight, the different terrain features, and between squad leader and starter kit there's actually differences as far as inclusive terrain, like the woods. You can see the woods, the actual symbol of the woods. So if you draw a string through and it doesn't actually touch the woods, it just touches the hex, does it block line of sight? No. And line of sight rules are pretty complicated. It's one of the hardest parts of the game. So what I suggest is you just get on a map and just start doing examples. And the rule book has some pretty good examples of line of sight checks. So that's how you do line of sight. Even elevations. Here we go. Here's a hill. So you got this Russian over here. There's a hill in the middle. The different color hex. They can't see each other, can they? But what about if he's here? Can they see each other now? Well, no, actually they can't, because he's not on the edge of the hill, he's on the back. So he would not be able to see each other. But right there they can see each other, they're adjacent. Right there, they can see each other. Right here, what right here, can they see each other? They can, same level, same elevation, they can see each other. But like I said, there's lots of rules for line of sight, so I'm not going to do the whole lesson on line of sight. We're supposed to be talking about prep fire. So number one in prep fire is checking line of sight. So if you have line of sight to the enemy, you can shoot. So we're going to pretend that we're just talking about this right here. Alright, so this half squad can see this Russian, and that's what we're going to use for our example for prep fire. A very basic fire attack. He's going to prep fire. So the first thing that we're going to do is that we're going to mark him with the prep fire, because each unit can only fire at full strength once per turn. So we're going to put a prep fire marker on him to symbolize that he's already fired. We'll put that off to the side now, but we're going to know that he's marked. His firepower is a 2, and his range is 4. 1, 2, 1, 2. So he's got plenty of range. So his firepower is a 2. So we look at the firepower first. We look for any modifiers. It's just a straight 2. But if there is another German with him in the same hex, they could combine their firepower. If there was Germans in the hexes next to him, you could combine into a fire group, which is real powerful. If there was a leader with that German, you could use that as a modifier to the die roll after you roll it, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But so we know that his firepower is a 2, and there's the bad guy. So he's firing a firepower of 2. Now let's look at the combat results table. Let's look at the chart.